Alright, everyone, Lord MC here, back with another video. I wanted to give you guys an update of where I potentially see the market coming into tomorrow and the rest of the week, especially after a very eventful day with FOMC news that came out. I want to do a more in-depth analysis on a few of the tickers. I'm not going to go into too many. I think we should really cover here in this video the SPY, the triple Qs, the Dow Jones, and maybe Apple and Tesla, Microsoft, which are some of the blue chip stocks that move the market, and maybe one or two of the meme stocks if we have time. But before I get into that, I want to preface by saying I am not a financial advisor. None of the things I say in my videos is ever financial advice, so take everything with a grain of salt. Do your own research and come out with your own conclusions. So having said that, let's jump right into it. So SPY here on the 1 day did go as high as 388.63, the low being 374.76 before closing the day at 374.87. So we had a very eventful day with the Fed talking about increasing the rate to 75 BPS, which was an expected move, and the market reacted to that a bit bearish, which was very it caught me off by surprise a little bit, especially after we were expecting that move. I think the market reacted a little bit bearish when Jerome Powell said that he wasn't looking to decrease any of the interest rates in the future. So I think the market didn't like that, and potentially this is why we saw the negative 2.51% move to the downside today. So what are our levels of support and resistances coming into tomorrow and the rest of the week? I want to cover, before I get into that, I want to cover here something that I mentioned in my previous videos, that I did mention that 390 was a very key critical level that I expected to bounce off of, and we did. I only said that maybe we can go up over 400 if FOMC was bullish. I still don't know if that price movement today, that the price action that happened today, was organic. I don't know if this is another shakeout, right? We are clearly in a bull trend, and this is confirmed bull trend off of this massive bear trend here. By creating higher highs and higher lows, you start to create what's called a bull trend, and there's no denying that we were clearly in a bull trend, which I was long for the short term, but unfortunately things didn't play out and I got humbled today. But that's okay. That's the way the stock market goes sometimes, and we have to learn from that and then expect and fix those problems and then look forward. So what do I see coming into tomorrow, possibly this week? I still am a little bit in a spot that I don't know if this move today was actually trapping bears or bulls. We have to wait, I think, a couple days to see where the actual price action is going to go. But if we are creating higher lows here, we got that today. We actually bounced off of this crucial line that I have here drawn at 374.67. But if we do lose 374.67, we are going to be trading in this range between 374.67 and 371.67, which is a key point here that the SPY likes to bounce off of and break up out of as well. So if we do lose 374.67, we are going to test 371.67, and if we lose 371.67, we can potentially start looking at entering back in this miniature descending broadening wedge back in the low 360s before, if we do want to continue with the bearish scenario, then we could potentially start looking at lower lows if we continue pushing down. So losing 371 would be very, very important and very bearish. So you could look at possibly entering back to 368, and eventually there's a trading range between 363 and 361 that if SPY loses, we could start looking at maybe possibly creating lower lows. So we will keep an eye out on that. I still, something about today's movement has me a little bit stumped here. I don't know if this is trapping bears. The volume did come in a little bit hot today, but that was expected with FOMC. So we will just have to wait the next couple of days to see if this is actually a bear trap, and then maybe a short squeeze happens on the SPY before a push back up. But that's gonna happen. We have to wait for that to happen to see if that's the case. Otherwise, we are gonna come back down, I believe, back down to the 360s if we lose 371. So, having said that, let's jump right to the triple Qs. So the triple Qs did finish at negative 3.43% for the day. It did lose here a critical level at 276.85. It tested XA of this bullish butterfly pattern at the 1.270 fib retracement here. So it's currently at 265.68, and losing that, I have this horizontal line here at 260.14. If we do lose that level, we are going to probably test hop again at 256.86. Now, if we continue pushing that below, we are going to obviously create lower lows and probably come back into this channel here. Possibly, see here. I don't know why it's okay. There we go. So we can come back down. This is where it would also touch the 260.14 horizontal line. Maybe retrace back up. Who knows? But if it does enter this, we can potentially start looking at coming back down, testing this midline in the 248s, and then if it wants to continue, 236 down the line. But we will take it day by day. Quickly removing these drawings here so you can see. Out of the indices here, I'm going to share the Dow Jones in a little bit, but on the triple Qs, it did create a butterfly on the 1 day, and it looked like it was going to do its type 1 reaction. It failed to hit target 1, and it's now coming back down. Is it going to do a type 2 reaction? Back to hop at 256? Only time will tell, right? We have a double top here on the RSI. Came back down. We entered the midline here. So now the RSI is curling down, possibly to start coming back down to the 30s. HSI did break the midline as well as AMP RSI. So harmonically, it's looking like we want to push down. So we have that by the increase in volume. That's also telling us, but that's because of the volatility that came in today with FOMC. So we definitely need to keep an eye on that. So we will see what that brings tomorrow. Now jumping over to the Dow Jones. I always mention that the Dow Jones is always one of the first ones to make its move, and then the indices follow. So if we look here on the 1 day, the Dow Jones had a bullish butterfly pattern, and it had one of the cleanest type 1 reactions I've seen in a while, where it did hit target 2. This is a scalper's dream. If you can get here reversal and just go all the way to target 2, that's a beautiful payday there. And the Dow Jones did finish that type 1 reaction to target 2, and it did touch the top of its descending broadening wedge on the macro, where it did bounce off of, right? RSI here on Friday of last week did hit overbought territory. The same with HSI, the same with AMP RSI, which is why we got a trigger here on the HSI arrows, a sell signal, right? So if this is now doing its type 2 reaction, we are going to come back down. And if the Dow Jones is the first out of the 3 indices that makes us move first, it's signaling that maybe SPY and the NASDAQ might follow as well. But we will have to see. I still think we need a couple days to find out where the price action is going to go to finally decide where that direction could possibly look like. So coming into tomorrow, if the Dow Jones loses here the 9 EMA between, I think that's at 319. Check right here, 319.87. We're going to potentially come back down to 316 for some chop here between 312 and then 309. Losing 309 would be very, very concerning on the Dow Jones, because then you start failing that 309, you come back down to 290 pretty fast, and then potentially go to hop and fill this gap down here that it hasn't filled in a while. Losing 283, you could potentially start coming down to potentially test the descending broadening wedge at the bottom of this trend line. But we will see what that looks like coming into tomorrow. But this is something that I will be closely monitoring, the Dow Jones, because it looks like it's making the move first. So if we do want to expect the reversal, we need it to bounce off of the not get below 309.87 in my opinion. Otherwise, we are going to continue pushing down, and that means the market is just going to come down crashing as well. but you will see if that happens. Jumping over to Apple here. Clear these drawings here. So Apple also on the 1 day had a bullish bat pattern. It did a beautiful type 1 reaction at the completion of point D, where it got above target 1. Unfortunately, it didn't get up to target 2, but it did hit the SMA here at the 200 SMA, and it is coming back down now. So what are our next levels of support here? Unfortunately, here I had this 148.05 that Apple just did fall through, which I did not like it to drop, because if we lose that, we are probably going to come down and test XA at 138.60, right? So there is some support around here. I believe there's some support around 142. Yeah, that's it. 142. Losing 142, then we see 138.60 and then 137.69. For levels of resistance, we want this to come back up to 148.05 to be somewhat bullish, and then especially bullish above 150. I have a target here at 153.10, where I think if we can get above there, we can start testing in this range between 153 to 156, but that's something that we would have to wait a while to see if that makes its move. So we are at a very critical point here in the market, so who knows what that's going to look like coming into tomorrow. Jumping over to Microsoft. Microsoft also has an ABCD pattern here on the 1 day chart. Unfortunately, it tried to do a type 1 reaction to test target 1 at 256.12, falling short, hitting the 50 SMA here. I had a drawing here, horizontal line at 230.65, which I did not like Microsoft losing, and we clearly did. And once we retested it today, and we came down straight to touch ABCD at 219.74 before closing the day at 220.19. So the next level of support, if Microsoft loses 219.74, is 210.06, and that would have the type 2 reaction and then maybe a reversal. But we will see if that happens. Jumping over to Amazon. I wanted to cover Amazon because Amazon is in a very tricky situation right now. Obviously, with earnings, it didn't do so well. It's been hit. Today, it was down. Yesterday, it was down negative 5.5%, and today it was down almost another 5% day as well. So almost, I could say 10+% in the last 2 days, which is very significant for Amazon. This bullish bat pattern, which did a type 1 reaction to test target 1 at 21.09, got rejected pretty hard here. Obviously, earnings didn't help it. It does have a gap up right here now, which we'll draw it real quick. So after it got bad earnings, it retested 107.74, and it came back down to hop at 96.31. Unfortunately, it lost 96.31, and it's currently testing COVID levels here. So you can see it's right here at 92.12. So I drew this horizontal line here at 88.09 from this bearish ABCD pattern right here. So this line would be the 786, I believe, if I get these correctly. Yeah, the 786. So if Amazon continues pushing down, I have a level of support at 88.09. That would be very concerning, because if Amazon loses 88.09, 88.10, call it, you can potentially start seeing Amazon looking like an $80 stock. It is at a key point here, right? The COVID lows here was at $81.57, I believe. Let's see if we take this right here. 81.30. So losing that would be very concerning. Yeah, you could potentially look at $60, $64, $70 for Amazon as a stock, which in my opinion would be a great buy. I don't think Amazon is going anywhere, but definitely on high alert for this stock right here to start accumulating here these Amazon shares at a discount. Jumping over to Tesla. Tesla right here finished the day on negative 5.64%. Very unfortunate day for me on Tesla. Didn't go my way, but it's okay. I did mention in my videos that I did not want it to lose to 23.79, and unfortunately lost to 23.79. So I do think we are now at critical levels again, where Tesla has to hold around 208. Otherwise, it's going to continue pushing down to below the 200 levels. For the bullish case scenario, I'll give you guys is 222. It needs to get about 223.79. Tongue twister right there. 223.79. And test the 21 EMA here at 229. Would be very, very bullish if a Tesla can go above 236.23. Like I said yesterday, when it hit 236.23, it started making its move rapidly up to what was it, 237.40? Yeah, it moved pretty fast, but unfortunately SPY reacted a different way, had some news yesterday, and it came back down. But it would be very bullish to get Tesla here above 236.23, which then it would test 247 and then possibly 253.25. But from today's action, I do think that if it doesn't hold these levels here, we can potentially see Tesla going down much further. So I have 208.79 XA here that it needs to hold. Otherwise, we are coming down to test the weekly 200 EMA, and that is roughly around $188, right? So we will keep an eye on Tesla, because that would also be another discount for this stock. And if it loses 188, you could potentially see down the line Tesla at 150. So definitely keep an eye up on that. Jumping over to GME real quick. I know this is 17 minutes video now, but I did mention in my videos that last night that I wanted GME to come down a little bit so I can get reposition here for further out expiration. I did get my move down to $26, which to close 26.62. We lost 20. Unfortunately, we did lose 27.57, but I did expect that movement, especially every time we get above 27.57, we push up to test target one here at $36, which we did this week. Fortunately, fell $1 and change short, and we came back down. It usually does every time we cross 27.57, we come back down, right, when it does its move. So we are hovering we did bounce off the 9 EMA, but if we do lose 26.62 here, where the 9 EMA is, you could potentially start looking at possibly getting GME to come down to 25 and maybe even 24 again before starting to come back up. So we would like to have GameStop stay above 27.57. Otherwise, we will probably start testing again $25 range, $24 to $26 range again. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Jumping over to AMC. AMC did have an interesting day. AMC did finish at negative 5.53% for the day. It did go as low as 579 before finishing the day at 581. I mentioned in my previous video, I did not want it to lose this range that it was trading in on this channel here, and it did. I did mention that if it lost, I think it was on the 2 hour, I believe. Yeah, if it lost top at 616, that we could potentially start looking at 568 and entering $5. And we got that today at I think it was 580. It was a low. 579 was a low today. So it is approaching here this level that I drew here at 568 that it needs to hold if it wants to come down. Otherwise, the next level, if it loses 568, is 556 and then 547. Losing 547 on AMC would be concerning, and we could see that possibly go into the low fours, or into the mid fours. So we will keep an eye out on that. We need to bounce back up at least to XA at 613 to continue pushing forward, but it's not looking okay. It's not looking pretty good on AMC, and being right, quite honest here with you guys. So hopefully we come back and push up 605, 613, and we'll see if that happens this week. But yeah, I don't know if it's gonna continue pushing much further. It could, just depending on if the market decides to come down again. So definitely keep an eye on that, but know your levels here. Don't be surprised if it does come down, if it loses 547 to around close to the $4 range. But we will keep an eye out on that. Jumping over to APE. APE did finish negative 9.52% for the day. I mentioned in my videos last night that if it lost 190, that it will go down to 170, and that's exactly what happened today. It did hold strong at 170. I think the low today, yeah, exactly, was at 170. I was able to get my position there was filled at exactly 170, which is a level that I have drawn that needs to hold. Otherwise, we could potentially start looking at 167, and then 151 on APE if it wants to get there. Let me get that pattern for you guys here. I think it's a 2 hour. Where did I see that pattern? Did it go away? I think it went away. Well, there was a harmonic pattern that there's a level hop here that it needs to hold. Otherwise, it is going to go down to 151 on APE. I can't seem to find it here. Oh, there it is. The 45 minute. 45 minute generated a bullish bat pattern. It looks like it's doing a type 2 reaction on APE. So we could potentially see 151. So luckily we were able to bounce off of 170. Just draw here 170. So the next level I have would be 167 would be the next level. So if we lose 167, we are potentially looking back down to test hop here at 151 before we reversal back up to do a type 1 reaction to test 183, 192, 220, and then 248 down the line. So that is all I have for you guys. I know this is a long video, but I think it's important to look at the levels here coming into tomorrow. So that is all I have for you guys. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Give me a like, and comment if you like the video as well. It does help me out. I will be streaming tomorrow again, 15 minutes before open on Twitch. If you want the link to that, it's in the description box. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.